right, good evening, everyone from London. Thanks for joining. As you can see, we have Becky Sauerbrunn and Alana Cook here to answer your questions. If you have one for Becky or Alana, please raise your virtual hand and we'll try to get to you. Before we do that, I'm going to throw it to Becky and Alana. They're going to address the Yates report right off the top, and then we'll open up for further questions on the report or on the upcoming matches against England and Spain here in Europe. So we'll throw it to the players.
Alana and I just wanted to take some space to address the Sally Yates report. And first, we really want to thank the players, both named and unnamed, that came forward and shared their stories and what quite possibly could be the worst moments of their careers and very easily their lives. And we also want to thank the other individuals that came forward to participate in the investigation that shed more light on the coercive and abusive nature and culture of the NWSL. And because I imagine we'll get this question eventually, the players are not doing well. We are horrified and heartbroken and frustrated and exhausted and really, really angry. We are angry that it took a third-party investigation. We are angry that it took an article in The Athletic and The Washington Post and numerous others. We're angry that it took over 200 people sharing their trauma to get to this point right now. And we are angry that it took Mana and Sinead and Aaron and Kaya and Alex and Kristen and Sam to repeatedly ask people in authority to take their abuse and their concerns seriously. And I think for so long, this has always fallen on the player to demand change. And that is because the people in authority and decision-making positions have repeatedly failed to protect us, and they have failed to hold themselves and each other accountable. And what and who are you actually protecting, and what values are you upholding? You have failed in your stewardship. And it's my opinion that every owner and executive and U.S. soccer official who has repeatedly failed the players and failed to protect the players, who have hidden behind legalities and have not participated fully in these investigations, should be gone. And at the bare minimum, the recommendations that are in the Sally Yates report should be immediately implemented by U.S. Soccer and by the league.
Alana, do you have anything to add, or should we get to questions? Okay.
To questions.
All right, let's get to questions. Let's go to Meg Linehan. Go ahead, Meg.
Hi, Becky and Alana. Obviously, it is a very emotional time in terms of, I guess, the most immediate steps in terms of trying to navigate both the Sally Yates report and the NWSL-PA joint investigation. Obviously, there is oversight when it comes to the joint investigation, and I'm just wondering if there has been communication between the players and that the NWSL-PA when it comes to next steps for what has come out of the Yates report.
I do not know of next steps. I am aware that the NWSL joint investigation should be coming out within the next few months. I haven't heard a lot from them about next steps, but I imagine that'll be a big part of their reporting.
Thanks, Becky.
Let's go to Jeff Carlisle. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Aaron. My question is for Becky or Alana. You talked about any owners or executives who participated in perpetuating this abuse need to be gone. Who are you counting on to kind of take that step? Is it the league? Is it the other owners in the NWSL? I mean, who are you hoping will step forward to take on that responsibility?
Well, I think immediately the league, the people that are in those positions to make those decisions, basically. And I also think that a lot of other people can apply pressure, and I think you're starting to see that. But like I said before, I think it's time for those that are in authority and leadership positions to start holding each other accountable and asking for the change that needs to happen in order for players to feel safe in this league.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Let's go to Steve Goff.
Thanks for your time. Thanks, Alana. Becky, how do you, moving forward now immediately, how do you square this report and everything you know and heard with playing for your club and in some senses playing for your country?
I think that for so long, the passion for the game has been taken away from players because of the abuse that they have faced in this league. And I think that for me, I'm done allowing that to happen. I love the game of soccer. I want to be passionate and I want to play. And we need to bring that joy and accessibility back to the game. And so for me, it's finding that joy again with my teammates and not allowing anyone to take that away from me like it's been taken away from so many people.
Lana, do you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched on it for so long. It's been on the players to handle these things and to speak out. And I think, to Becky's point, it shouldn't be on us any longer. We deserve an environment where we get to go out and play and enjoy doing what we do. And we deserve to be in an environment that's safe and, protects that joy. And I think Becky, all the players at Portland, all the players in this league deserve that. And so we hope moving forward, as was addressed, the league takes the proper steps and everyone involved takes the proper steps to remedy these issues. I think we're really only in the infancy stages of remedying the problems that have been addressed. We have these recommendations now and we have to move forward with them. It's on the league, it's on the teams, it's on everyone involved to make sure that those are implemented.
Grant Wall, go ahead.
This is for Becky. When you say that you think owners and people who are involved, executives in perpetuating this should be gone, how do you think that should take place? How should that process go? Is that a universal opinion among the players on the national team? And would you all, if that doesn't happen, take remedies, I don't know, like not playing or anything like that?
I can only speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for all the national team or all my Portland Thorns teammates. My hope is that the league and those in the positions to make those decisions and to apply those pressures do that. And as for if those things don't happen, I have not yet addressed what I feel is the right course of action. And if that's playing or not playing, that is something that I have not yet thought about. My hope is that it will not get to that point. But these are discussions that I imagine the league and the players in the league and the national team players will be having.
Thanks, Grant. Let's go to Alex Ozzie. Go ahead, Alex.
Hi, thank you both for taking the time. Open to whoever wants to answer this. I've personally been struggling to reconcile this week in terms of the report on Monday, and then on Friday you'll be playing in front of a record-breaking crowd, and then on Tuesday you'll be playing in front of a Spanish national team that is depleted because of, their own pushback. And I'm curious just how you kind of reconcile all of those things happening at the same time.
I think it's not easy. I think we're all actively trying to do the same thing. I think we're all reckoning with the things that were said in the report and still trying to, I think, working through that in all the ways that we individually do. I think we have such a momentous occasion on Friday playing at a sold-out Wembley Stadium, and it's marred by this report and it's marred by the atrocities that have been condoned and tolerated and allowed to go on in the NWSL for the last 10 years. And as you state, on the back end, we are going to play Spain, who I think is facing similar issues and voicing similar complaints. And, it's hard not to draw similarities to what seems like their complaints going unheard by those meant to protect them. So I think, we're all working to reconcile that. And it seems like there is a pattern there. And, I think like I said, we're just hoping that moving forward, these things are remedied, that the solutions are being listened to.
Thanks, Alex. Let's go to Molly McElwee. Go ahead, Molly.
Hi, thank you both for your time. You just touched on it there, talking about the Spain squad, and obviously this report was only about the NWSL, but I wondered, do you think this should be kind of a trigger in some way for other major women's soccer leagues to kind of maybe look inwards, consider if they're doing enough to protect players, and also maybe for other players who, do you hope that other players across the world in other major leagues in Europe, for example, might see this and think, wow, actually, I recognize a lot of those patterns, like you say, that there's patterns in sport, in women's sport, which other people might recognize across the world, I guess, in soccer.
I would say 1,000%. We hope that other leagues, other teams, federations, that they look inward. And the whole goal of this is that so no one else suffers from the abuse that so many players in this league have faced. And if that is the goal, and so if that takes people going introspective and creating policies and anti-harassment policies and things that we were very late doing, no better time to start than right now.
Thanks, Molly. Let's go to Steph Young. Go ahead, Steph.
Thanks, Aaron, and thank you both for your time. It seems like every time this happens, the players are asked to expend a tremendous amount of emotional labor. You're literally doing it right now. Alana, you said it shouldn't be on us anymore. You know, Becky, you talked about how the players are not doing well. So I think I'm just wondering what you feel would be a good next step in helping to alleviate the pressure of that emotional labor. Is it, not being asked these questions outside of, the explicit request to be asked about this, that sort of thing? Just, I don't know if you thought that far ahead, but it does seem like, it's taking quite an emotional toll on everyone every time.
I think one thing that has struck me is I've only seen players responding to what's been released. Obviously, it'll take clubs and federations more time to organize statements, but I think we're still seeing it. Players are the ones who are speaking out. Players are the ones who are addressing concerns. And we've been the ones complaining, and we've been the ones arguing for protection and guardrails and safeguards for the entire time. And I think nothing will change until clubs start taking control of it, till the league starts taking control, till those with the power to actually affect change are the ones speaking out, are the ones who are addressing these concerns. We can only do so much from the positions that we're in, and players have been trying to do it for the entirety of the league. So I think we are giving our emotional labor because, we want our voices to be heard. But at the end of the day, you have to ask these questions of the clubs. You have to ask these questions of, the executives, of the people in power who were in charge of making these decisions, who are in charge of making the decisions moving forward.
Thanks.
All right, thank you both.
Thanks, Steph. Let's go to Mike DeCourcy. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, yes, Becky. You had mentioned about wanting to get back to your joy. How do you do that when you go from yesterday, which is Monday, so you've got 4 days to process that and get out on a field in front of 90,000 people against a great team? How do you get back to yourself with that little lead time?
Well, unfortunately, I would say that a lot of us have been navigating these sorts of things for a very long time. And in a way, you find a way to deal with it and maybe not compartmentalize, but you use practice and you use training as that time to just think about the training and the practice and being with your teammates and those small moments that do give you joy, and just hoping to replicate that the next day and the next. And we have, as women soccer players, have faced a lot, not just these last, year, 2 years, but for a very long time. And unfortunately, I would say that you have to get used to it, and you have to ride the highs and the lows, and you have to do your best, and you have to enact as much change as you can while also demanding more from those that have the power to do so.
Yeah, I agree. I think as women, personally as a minority, this isn't new. I think these hostile conditions are kind of now being unearthed and publicly revealed, but it's things that we've been dealing with for the entirety of our careers. We have gotten to this point because we have learned how to deal with the difficulties surrounding what we do and the difficulties in our lives, and being able to still perform.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Mike. Let's go to Sophie Nicolau. Go ahead, Sophie.
Thanks, Aaron. I had a question and it was just answered actually. So I guess I just want to say to you guys, as a fan, an England fan, and seeing the Lionesses evolve and prosper the way they have, I feel like that has everything to do with US women's football and from when the league started here. I had the pleasure of covering the US women's national team for a number of years. And I think you guys deserve massive respect today for coming out and talking to the media, because it's not easy, not only to read the report, but also as a player to know that your colleagues have gone through that. So I just wanted to take the moment, seeing as my question was answered, to just say that being a Brit, and you guys are going to go play at Wembley Stadium, and I hope you can find a way to enjoy it, because the last time you guys, I think, played there, you did enjoy it and won Olympic gold. And that joy that you talked about, the US women's national team has done that for global football for years and years and years. And having followed your team as a writer and someone who's covered the team, it's just been nothing short of amazing to watch. And just wanted to give you guys massive respect. And I know that the England fans are going to love seeing you play against the Lionesses. And I hope that somehow you guys can find a way to enjoy the game. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sophie. We got a couple more questions. Time for a couple more. Let's go to Jonathan Tannenwald. Go ahead, JT.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks to both of you for the time. I wish I had something more positive and uplifting to ask about. Just for Becky, in reference to the remarks you've made so far about wanting institutions to clean up their own messes that they've clearly made. And when it comes to the NWSL, there's a history within the league of them not forcing owners out in the way that I think in particular of Utah, which is a club that you played for. Of not doing the things to force owners out, team owners out who need to be forced out. And I wonder if, obviously there's new leadership now, but there wasn't necessarily back then. Do you have faith in the league and the people who control the levers of power that they can and will do it, or do you not?
I don't know. I don't know if the right people are in place to do what is needed. My hope is that the joint investigation that is coming out will have recommendations for discipline. I hope that U.S. Soccer, in whatever ability that they have, whether that's enforcing sanctions or whatnot, if teams aren't complying to any recommendations like the Sally Yates report has put forth, that there will be punishments. But I honestly don't know. I don't know if I have the faith or not.
Thank you for the time and for the...
Thanks, Jonathan. A couple more here. Jeff Kassouf, go ahead.
Thank you both for talking today. Just wondering, as far as the emotional labor that you spoke of and having to do, conferences like this again, just if there've been some advancements on, resources in terms of sports psychology and that, but if you as players have been offered anything in terms of outlets, or even something as simple as time off in this week to digest everything.
Yeah, resources have been made available to us, I think, both on a league, club, and national team level. And I think the recommendation here has been do what you need to be okay. I think we all recognize in this moment that the things that have gone on, the things that have been unearthed are much bigger than soccer, much bigger than any training or game. So that's kind of how we're moving forward.
Let's go to Eden at Loss. Go ahead, Eden.
Hi. A lot has been said about the report, kind of talking about the ties to youth soccer. For you guys, just what are your hopes for young girls who are growing up playing soccer and who want to be pros someday?
My hope is that protocols and policies are put in place that parents and children feel comfortable reporting when situations are not right, and that coaches are receiving training about what is in bounds and out of bounds, and that parents are also well aware of what those things are. And my hope is that each and every one of those players can grow up in a situation where their coaches aren't belittling them or sexually harassing or coercing them, and that they get to enjoy the game and learn what great things the game can provide. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I love what I do. I love, getting to go to work every day with strong women who make me better. And I think, I just hope that because of this and because of the work that's going on and, the emotional labor that players have put in before me, I hope that this is a safer environment. I hope that, our joy is protected. I hope that they get to grow up and see this as a viable dream, an attractive dream. I don't want these conditions to last forever. I want there to be change, and I want, for it to be better.
Last two for the players, Louise Radnofsky. Go ahead, Louise.
Thank you. Not to belabor this, but I just want to be crystal clear. When you say that people, including owners and officials who perpetrated this, need to be gone, does that include the Thorns owner? Does it include the other two men at the Thorns? Does it include the Chicago Red Stars owner?
It includes everyone that has continued to fail the players time and time again, who didn't take concerns seriously, who didn't pass on information correctly, who have not participated in investigations, all of them.
And you're talking about them?
Yes.
Being in that group. Thank you. And while we've been, I think, in this press conference, it sounds as if Mayor Polson has said that he will be stepping away from decision making for the time being, as will the other two men. The Thorns, is that enough in your opinion, or do you think a sale should happen?
I think that whatever the joint investigation, they're going to come out with their own recommendations and their own potential disciplines. I think that a lot of trust has been broken, and I believe that I don't know what's going to change. I don't know if anything is going to come out in this other report that's going to make any sort of difference. And so at the end of the day, if people continue to fail the players and they don't comply to anything that gets asked of them or gets implemented because of these reports, then they need to be gone.
Last one goes to Andrew Jones. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you both, Alana and Becky, for your time during this difficult situation. I want to ask both of you, have you had a chance of any conversation with Jessica Berman or with Cindy Parlow over the last day that this news has come down? And as just mentioned just now, with Mayor Paulson deciding to still stay as owner of this team, do you, Becky, and Karina LeBlanc, who've done a great job as general manager, you coming to this team in March 2020 in a trade, do you still feel comfortable playing for this organization with him still being an owner on this team?
Do you want to address the first thing?
I haven't had any communication personally with them.
We talked to Cindy as we had a private talk with Sally Yates before the report became official that Cindy set up. And then there is also a call with her tomorrow with some players in leadership here with the team. So we'll talk to Cindy about that. And as for feeling safe, it's how do you answer that? Like, all I know is that the team that I play with and the staff, the technical staff and the medical staff, like, those people are good people. But the things that have happened above them in the front office as owners are abhorrent, and it cannot continue. And the fact that people were abused because things weren't done well and right is inexcusable, And so it doesn't matter if I feel safe. I don't think anyone's 100% safe, and that's not good enough. Everyone should be 100% safe and free of abuse.